tournament mode has started, ladies and gentlemen, and that means that this game is going to go live right now with Zaibatsu in the blue going up against, oh my god, that spawn from Two Nuts. He's sitting on the other side of the spawn. I know how that's going to affect Zaibatsu as they're moving their way, and look at the percentages already, Jesus Christ. As my name is Pledge, with me today is going to be Heist in the quarterfinals of the ESA TF2 Open Cup #1, powered by Ozone. We're going to get this game going. Zaibatsu versus RLM with the first middle going live for Heist.
Two early picks there for Zaibatsu. As Haunter makes one pick for RLM. I see 3 down at the moment, 4 down for RLM as they look to push on and take use of their advantage.
Very well played at the moment for Zaibatsu, picking up that first middle. We can see they're going to have to just back off a little bit and at least wait for that point to cap. Now they're going to make their way through to the second point. And I'm going to be completely honest, after casting a couple of those lower level games earlier today, I got to get used to the speed again that these teams are putting in.
Absolutely,
second point
Pledge.
already getting picked up right here. We can see we're at 95% now, onto the clock for spin as well. See, both of these teams have to ubercharge. Now the question is, how are they going to play it? Haunter already picking up that heavy weapons guy. No sniper anywhere in sight though. Let's see how Zaibatsu is going to try and crack the nuts that is RLM.
Yes, RLM were very fortunate on that middle that Spin got all the way back out so they can hold on to this last point. It would have been a disaster for them there to lose Spin last minute as he was chased back onto his last point. You can see now that Zaibatsu are moving forward into the lobby area with both their soldiers while Scouts moving around in the lower right area, just spotting that top right. They seem to have eyes on it here from the defence, as it seems to be Tariq who's pushing up onto the top left as well. They decide to make a move in here, Pledge. They look to get the force out.
RLM, it looks like they're going to, very clearly. I wasn't sure if Zaibatsu was going to do this, but it looks like they have decided to do this. They're going for the 4-man suicide as 2 soldiers and 2 scouts make their way in. Brego's going to stay with 2 Nuts for the time being. They want to keep the Downman alive. 2 Nuts drops the Uber to Forsaken as the Latvian medic jumps his way through, takes him down. And 2 Nuts really having a little bit of a shaky start, that for sure. And let's see if RLM can take advantage out of this one. Quad gets taken down, Marco's down as well. And Samzi is raining havoc across the players from RLM. And I can tell you right now, there's going to be blue all across this last point. Heist, here we go. As Team Mac gets taken down, Spin goes down.
You have a couple of spawns coming out.
Everyone is going down to spawns. Are they going to be in time?
It looks like Forsaken's going to try. Pledge.
Forsaken gets taken down, and is Quad going to be able to save it on his own? It looks like yes, he is. As the spawn just barely coming down there in time. And Heist, really, that was a weird but a very favourable exchange there in the end for RLM.
Certainly a lot of speed in that play, Pledge, and fortunately for RLM, they were able to hold on with staggered spawns on the last, which can often be the case, but they weren't going to be able to push forward here and take the point. They have a lot of it capped, but Quad goes down, which gives them the 1-man advantage. I'd expect Zaibatsu to push forward here and maybe probe for a second pick as they look to push on to the last point.
Gonna go into last, possibly. Are they gonna do it on just Quad? Yeah, they're gonna do it on just Quad. I think they're gonna be perfectly fine with that. Again, they're giving them credit, right? You see very clearly, like, they're giving them credit. It is a 6 versus 5. They're gonna wait for Quad. Point gets capped immediately. And you cannot, time after time after time again, I see teams doing this. And yeah, it is a little bit of a rough scenario, but the alternative is basically what you saw happening. You gave the team position. Even in a 6 versus 5 scenario, it might be the better move to literally fight them in that doorway and just bank on Quad to spawn and make it a 6v6 about halfway through that fight. Other so than just giving them the advantage and make their way through from there.
And we're joining the teams on the middle now, and it seems RLM are the more aggressive of the 2 teams as they push forward. They lose Forsaken early. Mark pushes across, he takes the pipe to T-Mac. T-Mac goes down at 4 down almost instantaneously for RLM. As Zaibatsu take the superior DM and they push forward. Mark, the only player being left alive, as I discussed before, Pledge, a very passive player, and he's very, very low. And if he gets taken down late here, this could be disaster for RLM.
2 Nuts and the rest of his team making their way through once again. Second middle gets picked up here by Zaibatsu in a row. Obviously after that 1-0 lead. Here comes the force. Is it going to happen? Great pop there from 2 Nuts. Sort of making up for the mistake he did. Forsaken hit the massive air shot. But 2 Nuts literally in the nick of time managing to uber that one off. And Zaibatsu shifting into next gear, making their way onto last. They're already Heist. It's going to be very tough to hold here, especially with Quad going down.
That Spin goes down. 3 down for RLM here as Zaibatsu seems to take advantage of the loss of players. They're holding on a little bit longer than I expect, Pledge, but that's only markup, and it's 2-0 to Zaibatsu very quickly.
As Zaibatsu puts down the board. sort of half point. Like, I haven't figured out yet what the match point is for just the first half. I haven't figured out a word for that one yet. But they're at it, basically. Let's put it that way. As everyone from Zaibatsu and RLM are making their way through to middle right now. 2 middles and 2 rounds in favor for Zaibatsu. Can RLM stop the momentum, and can they stop it here?
Well, we can see now that RLM are pushing 2 soldiers from the top left. 1 soldier will walk to the floor as 1 soldier launches in as a distraction. The scouts have made their way across the top. RLM have much better positioning here. You'd expect them to take out the point as Zaibatsu back off. But they've overextended slightly there. Both scouts going down for RLM. And I think we'll watch a stalemate here, Pledge, as we've seen Spins kept hold of his Uber. Same for Two Nuts.
Yeah, kind of looking to see if there might be someone taking sniper. I think Samsi going down there was intentional.
I have to interrupt you quickly there, Pledge. There was a scout play onto the medic of Spin, looking to force his Uber to take the medic out just before he got it, which given RLM a significant advantage in taking this 4th point. So we're going to have to watch Zaibatsu move back here as RLM push forward. But obviously, as we've seen here, they're not quite moving with the speed that Zaibatsu have, and Forsaken has given away a cheap pick, which I'd expect that to delay RLM's push now, because both medics have the Uber, and it would seem daft unless they're going to send players through to force the Uber. No, they're going to pop straight away. Pledge, take it away.
6 versus 5 coming in right now, but it looks like the backup is going to come and happen. Point almost like 3/4 capped or something like that. Hunter and Quad have gone down, and Zaibatsu, yes, they're going to push out. Yes, they're going to put pressure, but they need to do it with a little bit of caution. Walters is still around, and Walters likes the flank play. Walters is behind. Walters is on the demo. Can he cap it off? Brego hitting the pipe at the sticky. Very well played by the German.
While this is going on, Pledge, we've got a fight on second here. RLM are pretty much wiping, and what we saw there, Pledge, was a really big mistake, because RLM went and pushed there without Forsaken, so they were already 5 down, and they had to pop early on that roller door, which meant that they had the advantage on the Uber. And what we've seen now is Zaibatsu totally counter-pushing. Quite a poor push there by RLM, and they're making their way onto the middle. And what we'd expect now, they have absolutely no position in RLM to fight this off. And a soldier's just gone down again. That's the 3rd pick in a row on Forsaken. Some poor soldier play at the moment by Forsaken. But it looks like RLM are passively picking off the play there with Mark as Quad goes down, and Zaibatsu are going to take this middle for free.
They're going to back out of this one for sure, as RLM on about 40% Uber, a little bit cluttered up there as well. Going to see Zaibatsu capping that point, but it's 100% versus about 50 or so percentage here onto Spin, and he needs to be a little bit careful. Something can rush him. It is a 6 versus 5. You got to keep in mind. Here come the Blues. And
fantastic soldier bomb by Forsaken, Pledge. He's just took Two Nuts down with the Uber.
Again? Is that a second drop? Are you serious?
That's a second drop for Two Nuts there. But it will look, they should be blocking this point here. There's far too much respect, Pledge. They're moving their way out, but it will get capped off. Could this make the difference?
It's going to be a very, very tough one as the Uber now gets popped off. Well played to Spin, but the taunt comes out. Look at that. I don't know why. I didn't see why, like Samsi was just taunting because he probably thought that his team was going to cap that last point. It didn't end up happening as Ips got shot down there on last. And now the tides have turned for the 2nd or 3rd time already this round, as the Premiership, ladies and gentlemen, has made their way over to the ESA Team Fortress 2 Cup, the Open Cup #1. As right now, everyone from Revoluzion and metagame want to make their way through, but really, Zaibatsu's not giving this one up just yet. They're sort of standing there and poking as much as they can.
I have to say, players, you've got to give credit where it's due. Forsaken got picked 3 times in succession to something where he could have cost his team a round, and perhaps he did cost them the last push. But obviously, I'm going to have to switch here because there's a lot of action going on, Pledge, as Zaibatsu looks to push in on this lower area to force RLM back out.
We'll have to wait and see exactly what's going to happen here, as now RLM sort of outmaneuvering. Like, I'm seeing them outmaneuver Zaibatsu. Zaibatsu doesn't have this Uber yet.
Zaibatsu's positioning is poor now, but a scout's looking to come in behind the train onto the medic. He's forced the Uber.
Both soldiers are down for Zaibatsu now. I'm not really sure how this one is going to work out. RLM, so far, looking good, but they need to take down Brego. Brego got a little bit of space there. Manages to hit the meat shot, well, the meat shot for the pipes, basically, onto Walters there. As now Brego does get taken down, but in all honesty, RLM has already lost that exchange. It's a 5 versus 3 with the spawners, and there's going to be a lot of blue around this middle here in a couple of seconds as Quad, Spin, and Forsaken go down by the rushing Zaibatsu players onto that sort of saw room area.
We analysed that, Pledge. What we witnessed was, obviously, Zaibatsu held onto the Uber a lot longer, and they just counted late, and they pushed through. And we're just watching Walters take down one of the scouts of Zaibatsu there. Yeah, they're pushing up. They're making use of this advantage. I think, well, they've got one down, but they're obviously paying them a lot of respect, RLM. Perhaps they don't have enough positioning to push out, but they're going to make an effort here with this scout pushing through. There's a soldier bomb straight in onto the demo. As Forsaken takes the health kit, he stays alive. Some good play there.
I'm really not sure, Heist. Like, Two Nuts is already down, right? So all they need to do is keep their medic alive and be perfectly fine. As this is about the 5th sort of tides of turn sort of scenario that I kept mentioning, and RLM really fighting for what they're worth at the moment. Walter's got the pick on the spin, onto Two Nuts actually, and that was a very, very important one so far. Two Nuts not having the very best of games.
That's Samsy taking down quad onto middle. That was an important exchange now, as RLM are 2 down. And as I was saying before, Pledge, Forsaken had a few deaths in succession, which you could argue were overextends and maybe some poor positional play. But he made up for it with a fantastic air shot. He forced the Uber drop. He got his second drop shortly after. Yeah. And then an important bomb later on in the game, which has obviously turned it round for them as they look to push out of the window. Take it away, Pledge.
100 versus 60 at the moment. Does the 4th? Oh my god, the 3rd drop of the game already. Boat spin, that was a perfect drop, as we'd like to call it. T-Mac shot the rocket and the second one hit as the first one hit. That's how it works. As Two Nuts right now being assaulted here by Forsaken. He's making his way through. Forsaken is up to last, ladies and gentlemen. He's going to get the cap time done, but 3 players, basically everyone from Zaibatsu rushing back as soon as they can. It's going to give RLM basically the second point, as I think they might be able to defend. Mark was out of position though, he got taken down, and with that the point also goes the way of the Blues.
Yeah, Mark had to jump away sooner there, Pledge. He had enough health just to get out of the way of those 2 scouts, and he delayed too long, and now it's going to cost them big as they look to defend the 3rd point now, RLM, and he's put his team in a difficult position. And now we see Two Nuts pushing through with 100% Uber charge on Kitchen, and RLM look to back off on the far back right there.
They're trying to force at the moment, but I like the position that Two Nuts is having. Don't drop that Uber. Don't drop that Uber, Two Nuts, as you see the backup coming on. Samsy's on the backup at the moment. 3 players from Zaibatsu are going back, as Mr. Walters himself is trying to just make sure that they drop back as much as possible. Uber got forced, and it means that RLM, whilst losing this middle, probably not going to mind this exchange all too much. As soon as their players spawn, they're going to have a good advantage and a good window to push Zaibatsu with.
The problem is whether they're going to contest this point, being so close to Uber. If it was me, I would contest this now, even with 3 players, Pledge, because they let go a second, and one's going to be very difficult to push from, and they look to contest. They're holding on. Vince had to drop down. He's wasted a lot of the Uber time grabbing that scout as Mark pushes in there with relatively low health. They've done nothing with this Uber. Now the tides have turned, and Two Nuts has a 66% advantage, as we were watching, as 2 players go down for RLM on the point. Everything is chaos here, Pledge. 4 down for RLM.
Zaibatsu doing a very good job. Take the players down, and that really might just be the round over. And that might be that we're actually going towards the half-time break, as Zaibatsu rushing here into this last area for the time being. 6 versus 2, ladies and gentlemen. And if you ever have done maths like I have, I can assure you 6 is often better than 2. As the 3-0 comes out, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to half-time. As Zaibatsu manages to pick this one up, we're going to trade sides. And really, what does RLM need to do? I think that round was very, very, very good from them. The question is, can they do that every round, and can they pick up a couple of them? What are they going to have to do, Heis?
I think what they need to do is find consistency, and obviously their strategic play, their positional play, making use of Ubers has not been to their full advantage. I think RLM they've definitely put up a fight here, much more so than the scoreline would suggest. And as we've seen, Forsaken has made some terrific plays, and he's obviously positioned poorly, been picked at poor times as well, which is often, you could say, what you'd expect from a roaming soldier. But I think if he can find some more consistency, and the combo can sort of bring better Uber charges out, you know, the Uber fights seem to be at the moment, Pledge, the key, and often they've been able to delay Zaibatsu, even though they dropped a couple of Ubers. Don't get me wrong, I think when they have Ubered versus each other, obviously Zaibatsu have been able to hold on to that a little longer, and it's been very straightforward counter to them, and they've pushed them all the way back simply because of the fact of a number disadvantage. So at the moment I would believe that the Uber charge is making the big difference here despite the drops.
Second half going live right now. We have switched sides, ladies and gentlemen. And right now with RLM on the blue, and obviously Zaibatsu on the red, with a 3-0 lead for the people from Zaibatsu. We're going to be seeing this 4th middle going live. Remember, last middle did get picked up by RLM. We're going to try and repeat that one. Because right now we can see the pressure coming out. No kills as of yet, but it looks like Quad might be the first one to drop here. He is still alive though, but with Haunter dropping first, it looks... Oh my god, 2 nuts going down to Forsaken at the very, very end. There was a late bomb, but there's a positional advantage here for RLM, but a player advantage for the players from Zaibatsu. And it looks like the player advantage in the end barely prevails.
Yeah, so that's a full wipe now for RLM Pledge, and at some stage that was 3 versus 3 towards the end of that fight. Perhaps we could argue 2 nuts going down early give RLM a slight advantage early on in that round when they got back to 3-3, and now they're going to look to push on and they'll secure this 4-point fairly uncontested, I would imagine.
Yeah, I can only assume that they're probably going to pick this one up any second. Now, as we can see, everyone from RLM are trying to make their way in. Like, they know 2 nuts did die on that middle. They know, so they're going to take position. And this is what we're talking about, right? You cannot give any of the top 3 teams credit because they're going to get into the zone. We're going to have to wait and see now exactly what's going to happen as 2 players drop. And it looks like a very, very good exchange here, but can they break through? They need to kill Brego there. He's still 170 HP. The scout is on a rampage as Samzy walks through, gets the 2 onto Mark, onto Spin, and the 3rd one onto Quad. And Samzy going absolutely insane so far throughout this round. Can he pick up Forsaken as well? He's going to return to his medic, play it safe, and probably pick up the Latvian soldier here in just a couple of seconds.
Forsaken's buying some good time here, Pledge. I think he should try and jump away now because he's not. I don't believe he's going to take this medic down. I think him dying here could be the difference between losing their point or not. But if you see he's jumping through in store room, scout onto him, he looks like he's going to go down. Sveek makes the pick, and it looks like they're going to be 1 down disadvantage, as I said, Pledge, and now they're really up against it as the scout flanks them on the right side. They've Ubered in, Pledge. Take it away.
Ubered in, and let's see Zaibatsu going to try and make their way absolutely to. T-Mac is on to Spin, but Spin with about half HP, still staying alive for the time being. And Zaibatsu with a player advantage, and obviously they need to cap that point. That's the one thing stopping them from rushing all the way into last there. Brega might suicide in onto this one. I would really not be surprised if he does. Have to wait and see. Spin 75%, following his scout down the bottom as Quad is moving around. I can only imagine that Spin is like, Quad, dude, stand still, at least for the time being. You really don't want to push out onto this one. The Danish scout has now realized, okay, that's fine, I'll hold on to that right hand side, at least for the time being. And then let's see what we're going to do with this Uber advantage that we have.
And yes, we see they're going to leave Forsaken on the last point as they push up here. Hopefully they're going to get out here fine. They've Ubered at the doorway, and Zaibatsu have excellent positioning to stop this Uber. It looks like it's going to be mainly to waste, but they still get 2 picks, and they look like they'll pick up this 2nd point. As Tunis is on 85%, and you'd expect Pledge, perhaps they'll maybe wait for the spawns now, unless they're pressured quite hard and forced into using this Uber.
Let's see right now, as we can see, everyone is sort of building that Uber charge up, and the Uber is ready onto 2 nuts at the moment. They still have a long way to go before they reach the RLM combo though, and the Uber forced relatively early. Can RLM do something with this, or can they not? The weirdest air shot in the world from Forsaken is hitting there. Obviously nothing's going to happen because of it, because this target was Ubered. It looks like so far 2 nuts and the bros from Zaibatsu doing an okay job, but Mark is still sitting there with a full buff and a full health medic, and even Quad is just rampaging across that bottom. 92 HP, 24 is the pistol from Tweak hitting a lot of shots right there.
They could be pushing out here, Pledge. They need to get aggressive. They can't let go of that 2nd point or they're really up against it. As the scouts capping here, they're close to Uber, Pledge. They have the Uber now. Their positioning's good, those Zaibatsu. They should get away from this, and Spin's hold on to it, and that's an excellent scenario now for RLM as they look to push on and picks 2 nuts before he does get the Uber.
Oh, that pick onto T-Mac would have been absolutely massive. He was 29, then 6, and now only 150 really, and he's backing off once again. If this Uber hits well, okay, Quad drops to the floor, but apart from that, I think they might be in good shape. They need to kill 1, maybe 2. They kill Samzy, but against that counter from 2 nuts, there you go, 2 picks coming out. And I like it. I think it is okay. Can they pick up the point, though?
Counter Uber
no,
now,
they
Pledge.
cannot, as the counter Uber comes out. And it seems like Zaibatsu really barely in time there. And with the positional and the player advantage that they have at the moment, this middle point is going to stay their property.
Again, Pledge, we discussed at half-time the Ubers. As the demo jumps over the top, the medic stuck underneath, Pledge. Look at Spin. Spin will go down here. This is a disaster scenario now for RLM. As Mark's still at the bottom. Mark jumps in. It looks like there's a little bit of reckless play going on now as Mark's going to be taken down by the pain train of Brego, and Brego goes down shortly after to Haunter as Donuts dancing around that train. Excellent dodges by Donuts there to survive the rockets of Forsaken as the 2 scouts push through top left. What can Walters do here? Can he delay this for the spawns to come? He's took down one of the scouts, Samzi. The medic's assisting him here with the other scout as Walters goes down. It looks like not much hope. He has 3 spawns come through, Pledge.
Yeah, and it spawns really in time. Oh my god. This reminds me of TCM versus... I don't know what it was, but it was TCM versus Punchline, I think, from a couple of seasons ago, where really all that happened was that TCM kept getting the spawns barely in time, managing to hold on to that one, and we can see very clearly the spawns, the jumps, the suicides in across that point are going to be able to give them that last point, even give them some pressure on the second here.
And we've seen this twice now, Pledge, with the rounds. As we see 3 players from Zaibatsu come in to contest, they don't want to give up that second point, they want to keep the pressure on. Full throttle now as they push on, but Mark's in the lobby. He may get picked by the soldier. T-Mac walking onto the medic. In comes Hunter to intervene. He takes the soldier down and he protects Spin, and Spin stays alive as Mark kills himself from a roller in the top lobby. And we've 3 down for RLM, and I'd expect Zaibatsu to sort of push up a little bit here, but they're going to opt to hold, and I think they're aware that there's a slight Uber disadvantage, excuse me, for Zaibatsu, and they'll just wait for that. And I expect, Pledge, we may see some form of suicide or perhaps an off-class as we will see Walters take the sniper rifle on the last point. We'll see what he can do as Zaibatsu look to push.
Well, the sniping was absolutely phenomenal last round. Let's see if he can pick that one up once again. Tvik goes down to Mark. I would not be surprised to see Tvik picking up sniper here, because obviously Walters is sniping at the moment. He's going to switch back to scout, but in all honesty, with 4 seconds left on the clock for Tvik's spawn, I'm curious to see what's going to happen. Quad, for some reason, is already putting pressure. He's going to stay scout for the time being.
Tvik's only just spawned. Walters is out underneath, but he's going to get picked, I believe, Pledge. That's 20 HP for Walters, and he's going to go down to the scout of Samzi as Tvik just gets the spawn. T-Mac will spawn shortly, and I think this would be a mistake now, Pledge, for them to push, because they're going to have to leave 1 person on last, and obviously that would leave 4 for the push. But Mark gets a pick onto the medic, Pledge. I don't know if you saw that there.
Yeah.
That's 3 picks now as the Uber is forced. That's going to be Brago going down to Forsaken in the top right lobby area if you watch it from the defense point of view. I can hear a scout dueling. I believe that's underneath as he looks contrasted. Samzi with 2 excellent picks to really stutter this push out, Pledge.
Yeah, it took a lot of people to actually get Samzi down right there. He could have taken the medic, I think, but he missed, I think, 1 or 2 shots there onto Spin, and right now RLM is going to take use of this little advantage and this little window that has been giving them. They're going to fight, but Zaibatsu, as they always do, they like fighting, they like skirmishing, they're going to keep on going, and Zaibatsu could absolutely crush RLM here.
Spin is weak underneath, Pledge. He's retreating with about 36 health as he regens, and he picks up quad. This may help them. If they can hold close here, they need to buff that soldier up at Forsaken and hold that door, because if they let that cave in, they're going to be in big trouble with their demo and scouts still down as they defend with 2-man disadvantage. And they've just spawned, Pledge, as I say that. They've just spawned, and it looks like they're going to hold on to this last point fairly comfortably now.
It's 100% versus 100%. I don't think there's any crit screens in play at the moment, as I did see a very fast Uber charge with Spin, but there's not. Both of these medics have the Uber charge. No weird classes. Walters playing sniper, though. See if he can manage to make a little bit of a difference here, but I can assume with Samzi going down, I really thought we were going to have the 3-man suicide, but that's not happening right now as the Uber forces are coming out. Tvik goes down, but with Quad going down, I think this is a little bit of a weird exchange so far for RLM. They could have made that a lot better with Samzi going down that early. I think they could have played it a little bit better. Quad going down is going to be a problem, and with Haunter going down...
There's a demo onto last, Pledge. Demo onto last here. You've got Pain Train.
Oh my god, it's a Pain Train demo. You know how fast that caps, ladies and gentlemen. 4-0 coming out, 1-0 here in the second half for Zaibatsu. And I know Brego was on his way to last, but the Pain Train was uncalculated by me. And suddenly you saw the ×2 capping that as fast as a scout.
I did miss that, Pledge, but I believe it is either going to be waiting in drop down or he's just walked through on the right, hiding somewhere behind the door. As we come onto the middle, Pledge, Mark a little bit quicker, I believe, than Brago. Brago backing off on 90 HP as a soldier flies in from RLM. He's took 1 player down, 2 players down. With 2 for 2 here, Pledge, but Spins down, they have the heal disadvantage.
Well, I guess this is just one of those, let's just fly in and see which team can kill more players. So we can see Samzi really is going to be absolutely key here. Ip so far doing well, but he's only 50 HP, sitting into that kitchen area. Looks like he managed to get out. Samzi with the pistol. And who cares about the quad pistols? Quad himself drops
take a look at
Samzi
Red Kitchen, Pledge.
What am I supposed to look at?
Mark's coming in here from the side onto the medic.
No,
medic
down. Oh no! 2 nuts with 3 drops already. You gotta be absolutely kidding me. As really, I saw the flickering. I don't know if he was on 99 on his screen, but for sure, he did die there, and he did drop that Uber once again. But for the 3rd time, after a drop, RLM cannot anticipate, they cannot break through, even when 2 nuts drops that Uber.
I think that was the best scenario for them though, Pledge, because they were going to be defending the last no matter what. Now they have the pick, and they haven't going to have to go through a full Uber advantage for the other team. So now we look to see Sfeet getting picked as they push up with a scout and demo into the lobby area. A soldier's looking to go up drop down, Pledge. You may see that. T-Mac's gone up drop down as they look to push out lobby. What can he do here behind up top?
He's going to come in, but I don't think anyone has spotted him. I don't think anyone has an idea. Here he comes.
He's coming in from behind.
I don't think it's even necessary. Like, I think,
second.
Yeah, I think this is pretty much it. He's going to get taken down, but just the pressure in general we can see from Zaibatsu, it looks like they're absolutely wrecking RLM here. And I don't think RLM is going to have anything to say about this one, ladies and gentlemen. The GGs are going to come out. The 5-0 gets built onto the board, and it wasn't as easy as a 5-0, but Zaibatsu, definitely the better team. Onto this one then, the number 2 or 3 seeded. I'm honestly not sure if Broder or Zaibatsu is seeded 2nd or 3rd. Doesn't matter. They're going to find each other in the bracket in the same semi-finals. We're going to see Broder versus Zaibatsu, a prequel to 2 games that are going to happen over the next 3 weeks, ladies and gentlemen. In the last week of ETF of season 15, we're going to see them go up to see who gets 2nd, to see who gets 3rd. And after that, ladies and gentlemen, we have in the playoffs the semi-finals most likely against them. But first, the ESA semi-finals, ladies and gentlemen. The winner will most likely face Epsilon Esports, who is at the moment already playing against Solar Legion. I don't know the score for that, but everyone from the top 4 has made their way through. Everyone is sitting in the semi-finals, and now we're going to have a little bit of a look at exactly what's going to happen, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to go and grab some dinner, and after that, obviously, very, very, very obviously, we're going to make our way over, and we're going to see Broder going up against Zaibatsu in like 15, 20 minutes or something, ladies and gentlemen. Get some food, grab some drinks, and after that, we will be back with the match of the tournament so far. A best of 3 between Zaibatsu and Broder coming up here on Team Fortress TV in just a little bit.